This is Jeanette Keynes from Jewelry Arts Inc. This is going to be the first video in a series about tubing. I'm going to show you how to make tubing for bezels. I'm going to also show you how to make tubing for gorgeous little spacers, and we'll basically go into all the concepts and the skills that you need to make gorgeous tubing for a variety of uses. Okay, so first, look at these gorgeous stones right here. Look at these turquoise. Aren't they beautiful? Now, I don't know that they are absolutely 1,000,000,000% identical, but they're pretty darn close. And usually when we have a bunch of bezels, all the same size, I say to myself, let us make some tubing. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna talk about like the concepts and then the execution. So you would be surprised how tough tubing is. Like normally we make bezels here at a 26 gauge sheet, which is relatively thin. You can make your tubing at a 26 gauge, or you can even make it at a 30 gauge. You'd be shocked. I think because this is a ring and it's a bezel ring, which means there's gonna be bezels going all the way around. So I think we're gonna go with 26, which is a little bit heavier. You know, like a bezel ring with stones all around, it definitely gets a little more smacking, so I feel like it's worth it. So to understand how tubing is made, really it's just a long bezel and seam. No, I'm just kidding. But really, it really is just a long bezel. Tubing, here's the concept. If I could draw beautifully, you'd be impressed, but I can't, so here we are, okay? You've got thin sheet right here that's flat. This fabulous little thing here on the end, the traditional name for it is a draw dog, and we've never been able to come up with a better word for it. So draw dog it is. Basically, that's the part that eventually just gets squashed and gets pulled through the draw plate. Now, you're gonna be very clever when you're doing this at home, and you're gonna say, I don't need all that extra back sheet, I'm gonna save some. And then later you'll be going, fuckity fuck. I should have listened to Jeanette. Don't skimp on the draw dog. You need it to have room to grab with the pliers. Trust me. Okay. But what we do need too is two parallel sides right here, right? These need to be exactly straight, which my drawing definitively is not. So how do we figure out how wide to make this thing to make the tubing? So we need to measure the distance, the circumference around the stone. And I can tell you right now, when those words came out of my mouth, half of you listening to this video went like, unconscious. Math tends to kind of like freak people out, but actually it's really not that complicated. It's very simple. And what a lot of times is much more accurate to fit something than to measure something. Because people say, it is round, and I will multiply by pi, and that will tell me how long it is. No, how do you know that stone is perfectly round? It probably fucking isn't. Just absorb that right away. It's actually more accurate to fit. So what I do is, for me, I'm gonna take binding wire, the same thickness as the metal that I'm gonna use. So if I was using 30 gauge sheet, I would use 30 gauge wire. I'm gonna use 26 gauge sheet, so I'm using 26 gauge wire. I'm gonna just take this and I'm gonna shape it around one of my bezels. And then I'm gonna straighten it out, and oh look, that's the exact length that I need. With tubing, you just want extra. Too big is great. We pull that through the draw plate of it. Like you'll see eventually when that happens, you'll go, oh, it doesn't matter. Too small is a fucking issue. So more equals better, which applies to many, many scenarios in life. So all I'm gonna do then, I just have a little mandrel here, and I'm just gonna take my wire. This is just steel binding wire. You could do it with copper wire, silver wire, like, you know, whatever you have around. I'm going to use this high-tech method right here. Can I have a couple of your dowels, please, Lori? Super. It doesn't matter. You can use pliers. You can use whatever. I'm just using that, you know, to curve the little end up against here. Okay. Do you have a pair of shitty scissors, not your Joyce Chens? I'm going to borrow a piece of shitty scissors from the desk because here's the thing. If you take your nice sharp Joyce Chens and you cut steel wire, what will you have? You'll have a little nick, and then your scissors are not so beautiful and straight anymore. The crappy ones from the desk, on the other hand. Okay, so I'm going to take my little circle. Ooh, fluxy. Now you see like I made that a little small, so I'm just gonna stretch it. Basically, I'm just gonna make this wire so that it fits around the stone. Open it up a little bit. You see what I'm saying right there? So now we have, and I'm gonna mark that and I'm gonna cut it, and now we have a measurement going all the way around. But wait, there's more. We're gonna add a little extra, because when we pull this whole thing together, we're gonna fuse the seam. Are you looking for something, Lori?
Yes, I was getting something. Sorry.
I'm like, I hear a raccoon. What's happening? We're gonna add 2 millimeters to this circumference measurement. When we fuse it shut, we want this a little bit big so that we have plenty of room to pull it through the draw plate. Because what that's gonna do, it's gonna help get rid of the seam for you, which means you have less cleanup to do, and in the end, you have more tubing. So it's like win. So I'm gonna add 2 millimeters to this. I'm gonna mark it, I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna stretch it out straight, and I'm gonna add like 2 millimeters. Now Susie across the way, who I was just tormenting, she's making tubing for beads. So we started hers quite thin, even thinner than this, I think down to like a little bit below 30 gauge. And we made hers quite big so that we have tons and tons and tons of room to pull it, so that she'll have like enormous quantities at the end, because we're gonna make beautiful little tube beads, which I will be, in my whole tubing series, I'll be showing you guys all of those vital things. So I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna stretch it out. And I've got my cute little ruler there. If you squish it enough, you can roll it. Okay, like so. Come on, you're really gonna make me look bad in front of everybody. Fine. Beautiful, there you go. Now, like, am I like stressed out about making perfectly straight? No, but the straighter it is, the more accurate the measurement is. So if there's anything, you know, too wavy there. Okay, so there it is. I'm gonna lay this on here. Right, and we'll take a measurement. Of course, I just bent it when I did that. All of you out there, pretend you didn't see that. Okay. So I'm gonna lay it out on here and lay it out straight. This looks like maybe, looks like about 18 or 19 millimeters. So I'm gonna add 2, or you can even add 3. Like I said, extra is always great because it gives you less cleanup later on. And I know when I do these things that I'm saying things that you haven't done yet, so you don't really understand what I'm talking about, if you know what I'm saying. But when it happens, you'll be like, oh, that's what she meant about the pulling and the making it better. So I'm gonna look at this and I'm gonna go like, I'm gonna round that up to like 21 or 22 millimeters. That's how wide we need this to be, right here, right? So it's the circumference, you know, the distance around your stone or your whatever that you're putting it around, plus 2 millimeters. You can't go wrong with more, but less is not so hot, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get out my dividers and we're gonna work on getting a beautiful straight edge to your sheet first. Then we'll take our dividers, measure out that length, and mark it and cut it. Okay? So I'm gonna give Lori work to do, and then we'll reconvene. No, it's not easy. So we were saying, we were just snickering. It's not so easy to really get the sides super straight. So you can do whatever you want, but you should do what I do, which is, first, I took a ruler and drew a straight line. You know, I lined this up on here and scribed, and I just trimmed it with my joist chens. You know, just a tiny little bit, because I want to lose as little scrap as possible, right? And what we're just talking about is you would say to yourself, oh, okay, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna sand it a little bit. Ha, 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 ha. So what happens, you don't realize it. But when you're just doing that, it kind of swings up a little bit. I mean, of course, I'm exaggerating the movement because if you're doing that, then you're really in deep shit. But that's what happens. And then you look at it and it's flat in the middle, and then like here, it's up on the ends. It's just like when you file and you're trying to file perfectly straight, but you don't realize you're doing this a little bit. So what I tell people to do, usually I take, you know, the flattest steel block or wood, it doesn't really, but just flat, right? I wrap some sandpaper around. I usually just use like 400, but you know, whatever makes you happy. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put it down like this, and I'm gonna hold it on both ends, like this. And I'm gonna do this. And you're gonna say, you don't need to do that. You're wrong. Do this. Because if you hold it up here, like I said, it does. It just swings a little bit. And Susie is nodding in horror over there. Because the truth is, making tubing is actually not that hard. Like, you get a lot out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you make it, and you butt it together, you fuse it. I'll show you how to do all that. The only part that it's like, you know, let's be honest, a little bit of a pain in the ass, is this. And you can't neglect it. Because just like if you're fusing a bezel, whatever, the seam has to be nice and straight for it to come together. There's no fudging that part, and you know, I would tell you the truth, and there's no fudging that. So, you see this? Ridiculous. Small movement. I know, Lori's just like going, are you fucking kidding me over there? What?
Well, I was wondering, how do you know when you're done?
So what I do is this, like, and then you flip it over and look at, usually what I do is I have another steel block here that doesn't have sandpaper on it, and we'll put it on there and we'll look. When you think you're done, you know what I mean? You're like, I think it looks pretty straight. Usually then I take a Sharpie and just run it along the side, all right on the edge, and then sand it just a little more, just till that Sharpie mark disappears. And that way, you know what I mean? You've hit the whole thing. So I'm gonna do this a little bit more, and then we'll look at it on a steel block, and I'll do that last. Because, like I said, this is the only part that's fussy, so just lean in, accept it, that this part's gonna be a little bit of a pain, but then in the end, you will be so happy to have that tubing, you'll forget all about it. So I'm trying to do a little bit of an extreme close-up here. I'm sanding, and you see the areas to the left and the right look pretty smooth, but like you see this little thing right in the middle, it's like a little shiny still. It's a little bit different. That just means we haven't sanded absolutely all the way down. So that's what I'm looking for, is I'm looking for it to all look the same, no like dings. Because the shiny spot is basically where you cut. So I've been sanding a little bit, and what I've been looking for as I go was when you cut this, you get like a little shiny edge. So I'm sanding and sanding. I'm looking for any marks, any shiny spot to just disappear. You know what I mean? Because if you still see that, you know you haven't achieved your perfect flat edge anymore. So to my eyeballs now, I'm gonna just, yeah, I know it's tricky to see it, but basically it looks like a sanded surface. Like if you think about, like if you sand the bottom of a bezel, what you're looking for is everything to look consistent. Looks to me like we've achieved that. Nothing stands out, nothing's shinier than anything else. So what I'm gonna do then is I go like, oh, that looks pretty good. Let me take a look. I'm gonna put it against the steel block right here, you know, and we'll kind of lean it. Now, all the way over here, we're gonna end up cutting some of that away. So I'm actually not super worried about every molecule all the way down to the end here, but I would certainly like the vast majority of this right here to be nice and flat. Now, it looks to me like I could do probably just a little bit more. You see what I mean? You have to kind of lean it against there. I mean, I say we're a good 95% of the way there, you know. This end right here, if you have one end that's a little funky, fine, your draw dog can be there. You don't have to be like a maniac, you know. Just remember, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough. But we'll do a little bit more here, and then we'll check it again, okay?